the September 2024 Bridges and Tunnels Committee meeting. Mrs. Brooks, are there any speakers?
Good morning. We have 3 members of the public registered to speak today. As a reminder, we ask that all public speakers adhere to the MTA's rule of conduct and decorum. I would also like to remind our public speakers that in the interest of time and fairness to all speakers, we limit everyone to 2 minutes. Please be aware that there will be an auditory cue and a visual cue to remind you that you have 30 seconds to conclude your remarks. The first speaker will be Maddie Bucky's Highland, followed by Murray Bowden.
Thank you very much, Madame. Good morning, everybody. I'm Maddie Bucky's Highland. For today, I want to speak about signage and stuff like that. Well, I want to first of all thank Jamie Barbas for co-chairing this, although she's no longer an MTA board member. I thank her for her service. Well, signage, well, the first thing is I want to thank the MTA Bridges and Tunnels for putting up signage on the Throgset Bridge northbound on the Clearview, letting people know how much the tolls are, or as there's one on the Cross Island, but there's never one on the Clearview until now. So I applaud you and thank you. And second of all, everybody has to pay their fair share in fares, although it's necessary to raise prices, as what Commissioner Neil Zuckerman would say. Anyway, with that being said, everybody, have a great day and God bless you, everyone. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. The next speaker is Murray Bowden.
Morning. Dave, time for me to go. I used to be able to make suggestions and they were taken seriously, but at this time it doesn't appear that way. Kathy, you taught me a lot. And what you taught me isn't being implemented. You taught me consistency is the safest way to go. But the system decided what we did years ago and what you suggested, they're not going to listen today. As the Port Authority, the professional friends I have there, that's the people who work there. Fine, no problem, but the board has no interest except promoting the board. So if I'm not being listened to, what's the sense of my coming here? Because it's getting harder and harder for me to do. There's a problem. And until a basic problem of the road lines and that manual, because the manual was written for 50 years ago. Robert Moses screwed it up and we still haven't straightened it out. And it's getting harder and harder. If you're not listening to me, to even sit down and discuss possibilities, why am I here? I don't want to waste your time. I'll go somewhere where I can be effective and somebody's willing to listen. It's not that I may be right, but it's a point to start the discussion. You're using a rule book that was written for a world that doesn't exist anymore. This year they took it off and they said only in print. And you know as well as I do, you can't deal with a copy that's only in paper. Somebody was in there that wanted to stop something, and I don't know what. So I want to thank you all for I'm going to say thank you and goodbye. I want to thank all of the wonderful professional friends I've had here. It's been a wonderful experience, but I can't do any more. It's up to you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Murray, we're going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you too,
Okay.
but got to move on.
The final speaker is Jason Anthony.
Good morning, Kathy, David, and the rest of the committee members. Today I was supposed to be at work, but due to unforeseen circumstances, I'm here in person. Kathy, good job catching those who don't want to pay the tolls. Let's show the other states that New York leads the way. And I hope that other states learn from us. since I work at Amazon at the fulfillment center at Staten Island, I haven't caught, at least I haven't seen those plates that we used to see anymore, thank God. But we should say that we should be cautious, that people could buy these plates and could, let's say, ship it to other states and use another shipping method to ship it into New York. So I think, Kathy, we should consider this as a cautious method, because people could do this too. Because since I work at the fulfillment center at Staten Island, we should take this as a caution flag. So
Please conclude.
that's all I have to say for this month. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That concludes our public comment session for today's meeting.
We don't have a quorum, so we can't vote on the minutes. But President Sheridan, are there any changes to the work plan?
Good morning, Chair Mack. There are no changes to the work plan. I'd like to note the second quarter diversity report for bridges and tunnels, which appears on page 79 of the committee book, will be discussed at the Diversity Committee later today. While the focus of our committee meeting today is the 2025 to 2029 capital plan, I'd like to briefly mention a few items of note. On Wednesday, September 4th, there was an incident at the Queens Midtown Tunnel where the south tube exhaust duct was breached by a drill rig from a barge on the East River. This emergency began around noon and required the full closure of the tunnel on a busy weekday. Initially, there was an urgent need to assess the situation, to understand the cause of the leak, prevent further damage, and most importantly, ensure the safety of customers and employees. Once the cause and location of the leak was determined, the north tube was reopened around 1 p.m. for two-way traffic. The swift reactions and expertise of the B&T and C&D teams allowed a temporary repair to be completed and reopening of the south tube shortly after 5:30 p.m. I commend the strategic coordination of our leadership team, the actions of the Queens Midtown Tunnel facility staff, and all the B&T departments, our partners at MTA headquarters, construction and development, and MTA PD, as well as Pasilico Civil, HNTB, the U.S. Coast Guard, and Army Corps of Engineers. The permanent repair commenced immediately and was completed on Friday, just 2 days after the initial incident. Engineers continue to monitor the repair and will for a period of time to ensure the condition does not change. A brief comment regarding summer traffic and revenue. Both are exceeding 2023, and we look forward to that continuing through the end of the year. And additionally, one of our agency goals for 2024 is a realignment of leadership and departments to better position B&T for the future. In October, we'll present to you our new leadership team and organizational structure. And now on to the main event. I'm joined by MTA Construction and Development Senior Vice President and TBTA Chief Engineer Joe Keane, and we are pleased to present you the 2025-29 B&T Capital Plan. As a national leader in transportation, MTA Bridges and Tunnels drives the New York City metropolitan region, innovatively managing facilities and delivering significant financial support for the MTA subways, commuter railroads, and buses. This plan continues critical investments aimed at extending the service life of our structures and improving safety and resiliency, all while minimizing impacts to our customers. B&T operates 7 bridges and 2 tunnels, valued at almost $100 billion. These critical structures link the 5 boroughs of New York City with annual traffic of more than 335 million vehicles. This includes more than 6,300 MTA commuter buses every weekday. Our bridges and tunnels are also a critical link in the regional transportation network, enabling interstate commerce and contributing to the economy through our key role in the movement of freight. In New York State, 3 million jobs depend on freight, with a value anticipated to be $4 trillion by 2040. our crossings play a significant role in this industry. As many of these facilities are just under 100 years old, they require sustained effort and investment, ensuring their structural integrity, safety, and state of good repair. B&T's proposed capital plan is $3 billion and is anticipated to create 10,000 jobs annually over the life of the plan. This plan will be presented to the MTA board for approval on Wednesday as a subset of the MTA's $68.4 billion capital plan. Unlike the remainder of the MTA plan, the TBTA portion does not require approval by the CPRB and is considered final once approved by the board on Wednesday. As with the larger MTA plan, the B&T plan invests heavily in maintaining our infrastructure in a state of good repair. At the Throgs Neck and Bronx Whitestone bridges, we will finish our program of main cable preservation with dehumidification, which will extend the life of these bridges. These investments will ensure these aging facilities remain safe and reliable transportation corridors for years to come. In addition, we will be upgrading our weigh-in-motion systems for enforcement of overweight truck restrictions, which cause premature degradation of our bridges. Turning to safety, at both tunnels, following a successful pilot program, we will add fixed fire suppression systems, a life safety improvement for customers, as well as employees and emergency responders. Traffic signage for customer messaging will be improved at the Henry Hudson, Marine Parkway, and Cross Bay bridges. And at the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, we will upgrade the electronic security system to improve our monitoring and detection capabilities. Over the past several capital plans, we have invested heavily in resiliency, floodproofing our tunnels and replacing and elevating several vulnerable substations above flood levels, ensuring uninterrupted power supply, as well as performing significant seismic and wind upgrades. This plan continues that focus. 9 substations will be renewed, and if needed, raised above flood elevations. Facility operations will also be improved by creating a truly redundant backup operations command center to provide flexibility when responding to events. Just as Chair Lieber stated last Wednesday at Corona Yard, these capital investments in resiliency and state of good repair are critically important to maintaining our facilities, for future generations of customers, and for their role in the health of the region's economy. We look forward to the challenging years ahead as the future rides with us. Joe and I are happy to field any questions that you may have. Commissioner Glassman.
You mentioned weight limits on our bridges. Are there signs? Is every bridge different? How enforceable would it be?
So we have a considerable number of overweight trucks that do cross our facilities, and it's not just a TBTA problem. This is a regional problem.
Sure.
How that's enforced now is we have personnel, uniformed personnel, that actually pull the trucks over, weigh them, and give them summonses. The weigh-in-motion systems that we have really just detect overweight trucks right now. We are trying to upgrade all of our systems to be enforcement grade, so that we can send automated summonses to these companies and drivers that are, illegally crossing our bridges. We are also pursuing the legislation that will enable that. Currently, New York City DOT has that authorization on the BQE on a trial basis. So we're trying to expand that statewide for all of our regional partners.
Is it publicized how many tons or whatever?
The limits, yes. Joe, I don't know if you want to expand on that.
Yeah, I mean, generally it's 80,000 pounds. There's also a federal bridge formula that is the sort of accepted criteria. So, all the trucking companies know that those are the rules.
I know you have a height limit on interstate highways and other places. Thank you.
Well, number one, I want to thank everybody for their quick action on that accident that happened regarding the tunnel. Very crucial to the lifeblood of downtown Manhattan. Also, regarding your answer, years ago, and I don't know if it's still in effect, but New Jersey, they had a special weight team. And on the second violation, they confiscate the truck. Interesting. But we're going back 40 years. And finally, President Sheridan, do you have any comments regarding procurements?
No, there are no procurements this month, and if there are no other questions, that concludes V&T's report.
All good news. I'd like to have a motion to adjourn. It was quick. Here we go. Okay. Thank you all. We'll see you Wednesday.